Welcome to Colney Talk Podcast.
Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. Welcome back to another episode of Colney Talk Podcast, a bite-sized show. I'm your host Alex, first-time guest, happy to have you here. And to my returning listeners, really glad you're joining me. In this bite-sized show, I'll talk a bit about the Arsenal game and then pick out my top 3 Arsenal players who I think were great in the game and one player I consider the odd one who just had a poor game or not good enough who just needs to be called out. Arsenal midweek game before the weekend. Now we'll be playing every 3 days or so. When you can catch a break, it's a luxury at this time. Arsenal hosted Luton Town at the Emirates. It was a victory, job done, business taken care of, all right. But I say that with a lot of appreciation for things going well for us in this game, especially with a significant amount of change in the starting lineup. For sure, that's never an easy transition in terms of sharpness, synchronization, the way the team will be in sync and communication and all that. And it showed itself in the game. Arsenal looked to start off fast with a perfectly timed pass from Havertz to Trossard, unable to get to it. They continued in a good build-up form, moving the ball around with some breakups naturally. Arsenal playing against Luton's back 5 at this point, just as the game started, feeling themselves out. You'd expect a lot of play motions through the lines and in and on the width of the game for Arsenal moving fluidly, but the rusts on some of these players were just ever present. I mean, I think anybody would be shocked if it didn't show. It wouldn't seem realistic, in my opinion. Besides that, easy to say all eyes were on Emile Smith-Rowe, I assume, but so were the other players like Zinchenko and Partey. Then we started to get the best players for Arsenal with a quick feet doing things. That's how the attack began. First shot from Zinchenko blocked, and clever plays ensued to keep Luton off their balance. More Arsenal weaving with one-touch ball movement in around Luton's final third, traveling in the box, trying to make and work something. Emile looked quick off the blocks, moving fluidly as his usual self. It all looked like it was going well as the Gunners were dictating the game, but the only missing piece was just getting dangerous within the box. I knew it would come. I enjoyed how Arsenal looked. Luton came up with some forward plays of their own into Arsenal's third, but was sniffed out quickly. Early warning signs. In an attempt for Luton to play in the middle, they opened up space in the back for Trossard to dance with the ball into the box, dribbling his way through, but still no good connection with his cross, trying to find Havertz, and he was the right player within that position to get a header or get something going. But again, I think I noticed a lot of good defensive plays from Luton in this game. 20 minutes in, Luton looking disciplined in their shape, but Arsenal were coping really well enough as they were cooking up something, moving the ball, building some play motions, crosses and shots, still getting blocked. Again, credit to how Luton had staged up, but they knew that this is what it was required. Arsenal had to just keep working it and building on top of that. But as we expected, that didn't last. Also play from Emile Smith-Rowe to Havertz, lays it for Odegaard to draw the first blood with an immediate shot. Like just boom, 1-0. That to me earns Emile the right to play. That hustle play, more than anything, is what earns the big credit in that game. Hustle plays defensively leads to offensive runs to strike to do something. It just doesn't create itself without situations like this. And Emile was quick on his feet, heavy in those kinds of plays, and I think it was something that was drilled in for most of the players, but he was the first to really attack it that way. Luton showed a threat of their own within a cross into Arsenal's box, but Raya doing his Raya thing. While we're still in that 1-0, I had to take notice, though, that Luton grew well into the game, a few more runs going forward and crosses into Arsenal's box. I would think that from that first goal, that a few more goals will start raining in, not in realistic sense, but seeing how this is how things kind of open up, knowing for Luton, knowing this is an Arsenal team they're playing. Certainly, it kept Arsenal defensively honest, seeing how they were not just sitting back; they had some of their own intent going forward, trying to be adventurous. Then the finest play in the first half, all but just didn't get in the net. Intricate passes, the passes that were just growing as Arsenal would regain the ball going forward, stationing in Luton's half. Passes from Partey to Odegaard to a blocked shot from Emile. I mean, only if it just went in, the crowd would have gone wild. I think this would have been the dagger to really cause some more chaos, break their confidence down, Luton that is, and just affect the game in the way they really would have wanted. But I noticed some bad passes happening, as you would assume, and we would all assume that it was just some rust, but it wasn't really all from the delivery, but miscommunication as a sense. So hey, that synchronization showed itself. But can I just say we're going to see so much more amazing things from Ben White? My goodness. I mean, there is just a lot with that player. He just continues to wow us. And then as the game went on, Thomas Partey almost had a toe poke into the net as we just tried to drive all the way forward into the box with too many passes and not just being very ruthless as we normally would. But again, there was just so much to hope for with this team. Still working to find another goal, and who again? Emile Smith-Rowe on the case, moving between small pockets in the back line, gets a pass for a pullback, boom, for an own goal, 2-0. That would have been a Reece Nelson's goal, but we'll take it anyway, 2-0. Great work on that play. This is more of hustle plays from him, making some good runs and movements to find space to receive the ball, and it was all Emile Smith-Rowe. Arsenal were looking for one more play to do something even after the second goal. It felt like it just was trying to click somehow just before that half. Instead, we just lost possession. Instead, we gave Luton a free kick right a few yards off Arsenal's box. But that was it. End of first half. Second half, Arsenal passing connections when it mattered was just missing. Another view from this was that Luton were now playing us. They weren't sitting back, as I said. They pressed up high, preventing penetration from the middle of the pitch. When we did, Luton defended well. This was a different perspective of how the game looked. It wasn't just all praise Arsenal. It was now credit Luton. A decent chance from Arsenal when something came out going forward from a dispossessed ball, Odegaard finding Reece, but he just couldn't stay on his feet, hoping for a foul or penalty or something. And then Luton's play formation was to crowd the middle of the field, forcing Arsenal to go long or play through the width of the field. And it just took us a while to work it, which we did, but that was some tactics that worked for them. But Arsenal brilliant enough to find solutions when it looked like we lost sharpness. We found it, but when we got in front of goal, we just couldn't find that connection. I don't think we had shot on goal yet. 20 minutes in the game, we're just still trying to find ourselves. Then Arsenal needed to crank up the gears. They just hadn't done it yet. Meanwhile, Luton were not backing down. They were very, very competitive. Took the fight to Arsenal. I just didn't like how that looked for us. Sure enough, Arsenal's first subs, Rice and Nketiah on for Havertz and Partey. And then we just had to continue to manage the game as it went on. Luton admittedly made Arsenal earn their stay in the game. They had to just work it, fight it. They were the oppressors now, easily gaining possession into our box, shooting, crossing corners. Arteta took notice and he had to make some more subs. I mean, that's the way you have to be more reactive in those situations and not just let things play out. It felt like they really wanted to sneak in one goal and then make things a little bit more uncomfortable. Now, that 2-0 lead we had in the first half was such a huge thing, given how much we struggled in this second half. With the players on the pitch, I can understand the misreads, the rust, as I've said, and every other thing. But when we got out of tight positions, I couldn't work out why Arsenal couldn't attack. Because they managed to get forward, get into the box, get those passes going, but just something was missing. The similar intent, the intensity like we had in the first half, not found, nowhere to be seen. I'm not sure. Maybe again, it was all Luton here. Tomiyasu's shot at the 79th minute to me was the first that I could recall. If it was probably the first shot attempt and goal, it was strange for sure for me. Then Luton looking more awake than Arsenal, trying to press hard and do something. I think this was just within that last 20 minutes of the game. And they kept working hard, not giving Arsenal a breather at all. Defending, pushing us forward, pushing us in our half and trying to play through. And they made some really smooth plays. Credit to them fully. And then we defended until Nketiah's shot led to a corner. And that was our other attempt in a set-piece play. And that was it. We saw the game out till the final whistle. 2-0, 3 points, clean sheet. Again, job done. It was a rather dim second half performance from Arsenal. Instead, they showed their strength in defending and were fortunate not to encounter any mishaps or mistakes from these players and all the mismatch of the squad starting this game. But in the end, does that really matter? No. We gained so much more off the pitch, resting the players that we needed to rest and giving some fitness to the bench players. So all in all, so much to be really happy with this. Okay, about my top 3 performers. First up, the captain, Odegaard. Leading by example, playing levels above all, great goal, incredible passes, making things happen and ensuring that we were always controlling the pressure more than anything. We did leave some goals on the pitch, given how he was playing and threading some nice passes. We had the gears to get those goals in that first half, but I'll just leave it at rustiness. Second player, Emile Smith-Rowe. I think he wanted to match Odegaard's intensity and vision, which he did. Incredible performance, having not played at all, but started and showed little rust, but he was brilliant. I really wish his shot went in. He looked electric, deserved all the applause, and his starting, he well earned. Well done to him. Third and final player, Trossard. He showed several flashes of brilliance, another outlet to create something, but just wasn't all there. That didn't stop him though. He was doing bits. Yeah, a couple of his shots were blocked, but he kept looking up for Havertz up top to do something and create some chances. And when we were up against the pressure from Luton, he was there. He was good. He tried to make something happen and take away some of that to drive forward. In terms of the odd one, it's not one player though, but just simply rustiness showing itself. I mean, I can't complain at all in the end. For one, Luton just didn't roll over, and two, they kept us honest. A good reminder on what we are going to be dealing with from here on out, with the players, with the teams. For this run-in, nothing is given anymore, and no matter the position, no matter what we are hearing, it's never what happens on the pitch. So I'm glad this was a good result in the end. Now it's in the books. We set up for the weekend, and we now look up for better things. And I'm glad the key players got the rest, and hopefully it plays out for us. Well, I'll leave it here for now. Speak to you all soon. Take care.